Hi, good morning, everyone. In today's session, we will see about objects. So, what is this object? What different kinds of objects are available in Salesforce? We will discuss. Whenever we come to software application, we see three kinds. One is database, front end, and business logic. This database is nothing but it is server. In the server, we store data. We need a structure in the server. We need a structure in the server to store data.
Recorded.
That structure can be table. The table is in the form of rows and columns. This is the common structure in every database, in every relational database management system. Most of the organization use RDBMS system only. In the data is stored in the form of rows and columns. We call it as table. Object is a table. It is a table. Object is a table. It is the collection of records. It is used to store data. How it is? If you take any combination of rows and columns, it is a record. If you know employee name, EMP ID, EMP name, EMP salary, employee salary. This is the table related to columns related to employee salary table. In this table, there are different columns. These columns are database structure. Every table contains columns. For that columns, we enter data 001, Madhu, 10,000, 002, XYZ, 15,000. Like this, data is stored in the database table. Whenever we want data, that data can be retrieved, like by using views. By using create option, we can enter this data. If you want to edit this data, you can use edit option. If you want to delete, you can use delete. If you want to restore deleted data, you can use undelete. If you want to view data, we have view options. These operations we do on table. This table is object in Salesforce. It is used to store data. So there are different kinds of data. Application data. What is this application data? This structure, this column details and table name. This is the structure of the data. This is application data. This is skeleton of database table, column names and table name. And whatever we are entering inside, that is business data or organization data. If you consider Gmail, we'll have user ID and password. The structure where we enter input, that is the application. That application is stored as application data. emails inside your email ID is business data organizational data. Application data is skeletal structure of application. Whatever we see, like front end screens, are Google. When we enter gmail.com, whatever the application is loaded in the browser, that is stored as application data. User ID and password, that is organizational data. Emails which are stored in the Gmail are organizational. So this object is all these are tabs. We can see all tabs. If you want to see sales application related tabs, you can see here. If you want to see marketing application related tabs, you can see here. So we have customized these applications and we have made only these tabs available here. There are many tabs. All these tabs are front end. That is for user interface to enter data. Behind these tabs, there are objects. Those objects are not visible for end user. Those are visible only for developers and administrators. Objects are not visible to end users. Objects are visible to admins and developers. So what are visible to end users? Tabs are visible to. By using tabs, they enter input through tabs. The data is saved in the backend. End user input is saved in objects. There are three kinds of objects, three types of objects in Salesforce. One is standard object, second one is custom object, third one is S object. These three are the objects available in Salesforce. The standard objects are provided by Salesforce by default. Salesforce, when we purchase license from Salesforce, they provide all these objects. These we have not created. Behind these tabs, there are objects. Those are created by Salesforce by default. Till now, we have not created any object. Whatever the objects Salesforce has provided by default, we are using those objects only. When we customize tabs, There we have used whatever the object, what are the tabs provided by Salesforce, those only we have used. When we created record, that records are stored in the objects which are provided by Salesforce. When you created record in accounts tab, when you click on new, enter account name. When you enter this, when you are clicking on save, it is going to save in account object. That account object is provided by default by Salesforce. There is corresponding tab for every object. First, the Salesforce create objects, then only they create tabs. First step is creating object, then tab is created. When we are creating custom object, that time you will understand which one is first. Anytime when we are designing application, first we have to finalize with database structure. Database design should be finalized first. Then we will work with business logic and front ends. Because every time when we design or develop application, we need to test. Without database, we cannot test. So standard objects are provided by Salesforce. What we can do is we can customize the standard object. In the standard object, they have given different fields. When we click on new, here they have provided different fields. These are called as fields. In general terms, these are columns, but in Salesforce, these are fields. In this object, there are several fields. These fields are nothing but columns. For every object, there will be thousands of fields in real time. All these are fields. For these fields, end user enter data. Here, end user enters data. Whenever there is option to input, that is nothing but field. All these are fields. Account owner, account name, parent account, account number, account site, type, industry, annual revenue. All these fields are created by Salesforce by default in the object. These fields are segregated in different sections for understanding. This is the account information. This is the address information. This is the layout provided by Salesforce. This is page layout. This layout is called page layout. In the page layout session, we will understand what is page layout, how can we do this. We create custom object. There we create fields, our own fields. These fields are provided here in Salesforce. Customer asks us to create custom objects for their own purpose as per their business requirement. They might not use account object or account tab. They want some different tab. For that tab, there will be object. In that object, whatever the fields they have mentioned, we have to create those fields. That is the major work, that requirement every time we get when we are working on real-time projects. After creating fields, we need to set up this page. We have to set up this layout, page layout. Every concept, whatever we are explaining it is useful in real time. Every time we use. In 6 months span of your project duration while working, we will get some time requirement. Every day won't be same requirement. In 6 months project, we have some requirements to create object, requirement to create fields, requirements to design this page layout. So in the standard object, they have provided these fields. Now, customer wants for the standard object, they want to add PAN number. They want to take PAN number of customer. Our client wants that. They want to add PAN number here or passport number or Aadhaar number they want to add. They want to take those details from their customers. That time we can add some additional information section we can add here. In that we can keep. First we create those fields. PAN number, passport, Aadhaar number. We create fields. Those fields will come here in the down when we create. That time what we do is we keep additional information, something like that. We will give personal details or confidential information section we will give. There we enter PAN number. We keep those fields here. User can come and enter those details. That customization we can do. We can add additional fields. Salesforce is providing so many fields with objects. If we want to add additional fields, we can add. We cannot remove the standard fields. You can, if you want to add additional fields, you can add, but you cannot remove the standard fields provided by Salesforce. These fields are used in somewhere else, not only here, not only in this object. These fields are used in different objects. So we cannot delete these fields. We cannot remove these fields. If you want to hide, you can hide. Even we cannot remove standard objects. If you want to delete standard objects, we cannot delete. If you want to add additional objects, we can add custom objects. That will be custom object, not a standard object. The custom object is created by Salesforce developer or administrator as per the business requirement. Client will ask us to create. In the standard object, he may ask to create new fields. He might ask to create custom object. That time, as a developer or administrator, we have to create the object. So custom object is postfixed with __ capital C. Whenever in the interview, they will ask this question: how you will identify custom object? Then we have to say the custom object is postfixed with __ C. By looking at that, we can say it is a custom object. There are some governor limits. Governor limits in the sense limitations. Those are called, every time we use this governor limit. Oh, in Salesforce. In interview, they will ask definitely, what are the governor limits? And that limits will be based on their question. Now here, in the free developer edition, we can create 400 custom objects. In the application, we can create 400 custom objects. In real time, in unlimited edition, 2000 custom objects can be created in the application. The same way, whatever we are seeing, tab, for this tab there will be objects behind it. For the object, we can add additional fields. While creating the object, once we create the object, we have to create additional fields to take input from end user. So once we create this like custom object, it is account here. This is the standard object. We might have some policy to enter policy, insurance policy details of the customer. Once we create the object, we need to create these fields. This is our duty. Salesforce won't create. This is a standard field. They have provided these fields. For custom field, as a developer, we have to create it. We have to create those fields. If you want to remove those fields, you can remove in the custom object. We can remove entire custom object because we have created it. We can add how many ever objects we want to create, we can add. So now, what is S objects? It is Salesforce objects. We call it as Salesforce objects. That is a combination of standard and custom objects. We will see that. What are S objects? When we get requirement, when we get in the next sessions, we will see what is the S objects. So how we can see the objects? Now we can see tabs here in the top. Or if you click on this plus symbol, we can see all the tabs. In the view, we can see all the tabs. In the same way, we can see objects as a developer. We can list out the objects. There are three ways to list out the objects. First one is object manager. There we can see the object. What are the objects available? Then schema builder. Developer console. These three are the different ways available to see the objects. So questions related. What is object? What are the different objects available? Explain standard. Explain how to, what are the different ways to see. What are the different ways to see objects? Those 5 questions you should be able to answer. So how to view object from object manager? So we have to go to setup. Setup we use every day. We are an administrator. Most of the time we have to do configuration from the setup. Go to object manager. There we will have object manager link. We can click on view all the objects. Or if you want to see particular object details, you can see. So go to setup. In the quick find, type object manager. The quick find object. Let's see what it is. It should display. Trying to help. Let us see enlightenment. Here directly it is showing object manager option. It is showing all the objects available in Salesforce. This is the account object. Click on this. This is the API name, account name. Singular label is account, plural label is accounts. This is the tab name. Then if you want to see fields, this is the account name, account number, account owner, account site. All these are fields. When we are creating new account record, that time it is showing all the fields. These fields are created by Salesforce by default. This page layout option. This is the internal option provided for us, for administrators and developers. There we can customize this standard object. So this is how we can see objects from object manager. You can go to setup in the lightning. Go to lightning, check. You can see the fields and relationship. You can see so many options are available. Right now, fields and relationship, it will be open. How we can identify customer object? This question they will ask in interview, how to identify custom object. How to identify custom object. For custom object, there will be underscore C. Every custom object is supposed to split underscore C. Internally, it will do. Internally, Salesforce will add that. How to see object in other way? One is object manager. Second one is schema builder. Schema builder is a graphical representation tool. It shows object structure and its relationship in pictorial format and canvas. In the setup, try schema builder. Click find. Schema builder. Just open one canvas. This is called canvas. It is showing all the objects. See this one. All these are looking like car symbols. These are all the objects. Whatever all the objects available in Salesforce, those objects are displayed here. I don't want to see all these objects in the canvas. Just clear all. Select on one object which you want to see. Account object I want to see. It is showing somewhere else. Here we can see the display. This is the canvas. Here it is showing where it is available. This is almost available in this corner. Click on auto layout. It came here properly. You can reduce the size, increase the size. Here it is showing all the fields in the object. In the account object, there are several fields available. All these fields it will show. All the fields are shown. All the fields are shown. Now I want to see account object is available. I want to see contact object. Select the contact object. Click on this auto layout. It will come into color. See this. There is relationship between account object and contact object. How you can say that? How you can say that? Here it is showing blue line. It is showing a blue line. From here to here. And it is showing some self between within the object there is a relationship. For accounts there is relationship. This is showing in different colors. Just remember this blue color, red color. You don't need to worry about this relationship. In next session we will jump to relationships. So this is to understand about schema builder, how it displays objects in the canvas. This is the pictorial representation of objects on the canvas. Then close this. So that is about schema builder. These assignments we have to finish. I am writing account object. Account object is always standard object. We don't need to mention it is standard object separately. Second one is go to schema builder. Select account contact case objects, keep them in the same order. Go to the canvas. We have this navigation in the schema builder. Through this navigation, only keep these objects one by one, account, contact, and case. Note down what type of relationships are available between account, contact, and case. This I have not explained about relationships, but by seeing at the screen, you can see. Question is, what is schema builder? Or I can directly say explain schema builder. It is a graphical or pictorial representation of objects and fields and its relationships in the canvas. Whatever the points you get, you write down. So one more way to see fields is developer console. How to go to developer console? You go to setup. In the setup, type developer console. It is not showing here. Go to classic. Go to classic. In the setup, first, developer console. Here it is there. In the profile section, you can see developer console. It is opening developer console. It is not in the setup. Go to this profile section. There you can see developer console option. Then go to hide and open. Here there are different entity types. Select objects. It is loading all the objects. Click on account. Yes. It's showing all the fields available in the account object. These are all the fields available in the account object. Sometime you can go to developer. So there you can see campaign object. This is the assignment. New campaign object. From object manager, write down 10 fields. This is for object manager. This is for schema builder. View lead object from developer console. Note down 5 fields. This is from schema builder. This is from object manager. This is for developer console. What is the navigation to see object from developer? This you can try it like go to profile. From there you can open developer console. Here are the 3 ways we can see objects from object manager, schema builder, and developer console. We use all these options very frequently in real time to see either standard object or custom object. So you need to become perfect with this green navigations. So next thing is we can create custom objects. We get requirement from clients. They don't want, sometimes they don't want to use standard objects. Even they are using standard objects. They might get different requirements to store data in different objects. That time they will give requirement to us. Whenever we are creating custom object, we need to understand what is happening in the backend. What happens in the backend when we create a custom object? Three things it will do. Whenever we create custom object, three things it will have. Three things are done in the back. First, what it will do is it will generate object table. This is the common process in any technology. Internally, what happens? In the Salesforce, it creates object table. First step, this is the first step. In the second step, it creates a business logic. In the final step, it creates a tab. User interface. This object table is object. Since you are creating a custom object, it will have, you are going to create one custom object policy. In this policy, you will enter, we can enter policy details of the customer. Internally, it will have policy underscore C. Object name is policy underscore C. The business logic name is policy underscore C. Same name as object. Internal name. External name is policy. So this is a program. Business logic is a program. Policy underscore C is a program. That is a business logic. It executes between user interface and this object table policy. Here object name is policy, business logic name is policy underscore C because it is programming. Internal name for object is policy underscore C. This is the external name. Tab we know. If it is a policy, it's policy. To remember this, object name is policy, tab name is policies. For every object, there is corresponding plural tab. Policy, policies. You should create employee, employees. Like account, accounts. Contact, contacts. Opportunity, opportunities. These external names are saved. Internal names for object policy underscore C, for business logic policy underscore C. This is the program. This is the object internal name. Whenever you want to retrieve data, you have to use as a developer policy underscore C. Administrator don't need to worry about this policy underscore C, policy underscore C underscore C. If you are into development, there we will retrieve data by using this. The backend process while creating custom object, it will generate object table. It generates a table postfix with underscore C. It contains 5 standard fields. Whenever you create an object, it generates these 5 fields. ID, name, owner, created by, last modified. We will discuss about these 5 fields later. Right now, our intention is to create custom object, not to understand these fields. Fields we will understand. When we create custom fields, that time we will understand. These are the standard fields. While creating the custom object, it generates these 5 standard fields. Without these standard fields, we cannot create custom object. Like if we create custom object, obviously it will generate these 5 fields. Any object, either it may be standard or custom object, these 5 fields are mandatory. After these 5 fields only, there will be other fields. So ID, name, owner, created by, last modified. So we can add additional fields after these fields. Tab is created. This is to manage records in the object table. Need a tab for object. Tab contains multiple graphical user interfaces. Now already understood about this tab, what it contains. By using, whenever you go to any tab, it is displaying one user interface. When we click the accounts tab, it is displaying user interface. It displayed accounts home page. This is the user interface. If you click on new, it is opening one more user interface. It has opened one user interface. I have entered something. I have entered this and clicked on save. It opened this user interface. It has shown this user interface. So each tab is providing multiple graphical user interfaces. If you click on edit, it is displaying one more user interface. All these are user interface. That's why tab is a collection of graphical user interfaces. By using this, you can create, edit, delete, undelete, view. These are all our screens. Whenever you create custom object, it displays, it creates internally all these screens it will create. To create account, to edit object, to delete edit record in the object, to delete record in the object, to undelete record in the object, to view records in the object. It creates all these user interfaces. Salesforce by default it will create. Every user interfaces contains two fields, name and owner. That we will see. Where is ID, what is created by last modified by, we will see. Whenever we create any custom object, it creates two fields and it will ask name, input, owner it will give automatically. We will see that. While creating, we will understand. Right now, just remember this. User interface contains two fields, name and owner. So business logic is available between tab and object. It will be generated. It is in the form of class and methods. How it is in the form of class and method? Now, if I click on save, it should execute one method internally. If I click on cancel, it should execute one method internally. Here, in the Salesforce, we get this in development classes. In the OOPS concepts, we will get class. Class will be like this. In the class, there are methods. Save method. Cancel method. Save method, when we click on save, it will execute save method. When you click on cancel, it will execute cancel method. When data is entered by end user and user interface, business logic validates the data and insert into objective. If you click on save, it will commit data. It will click on cancel. Cancel method will get executed and it will come out without committing data, saving data. Save, it will execute save method. And it's saved data here and shown here in the screen. So if you enter wrong data in the screen, like if you don't enter valid data, it won't take, Salesforce won't take. In the mandatory field, if you don't enter data, it will ask, you have not entered field. We are not going to save. Please enter this data, it will give that message. So here tab is policies, internally business logic, program is policy underscore C, object table is policy underscore C. So whenever you enter data, business logic get response back from database layer. The response will be presented to user interface. From front end, when we enter input, business logic send request to database, get response back from database layer. That response will be presented in user interface. So whenever user interface, we enter data input, this will send request so database object. Then it will bring back, validates data and bring back response from the database layer. It will be presented to user. After it feels it is valid data, business logic validates this data. How this will validate? Now you go to accounts tab. It is when you click on new, here you are entering data. So what do I do? I don't enter any data here, click on save. What is it? You must enter a value. Now it has requested to database to save this data. In the database, we made this field as mandatory. So when we requested to database, when business logic requested this data, okay, take this data, save it, validate it. So database said there should be a value for this field. So it has sent, business logic has sent this kind of response. You must enter a value. Or else what I will do is I will enter SS new. Then click on save. It is sending request. And the data is valid. So it has immediately given this response. This is stored. This record has been stored in the database. It is committed. This is how, when we create custom object, we get response from the backend. It creates three. Database table it creates internally. Then it creates a program name called policy underscore C, that is the business logic. And it will have user interface policies. Now the questions are, what happens in the backend when we create custom object? What are the mandatory fields for standard and custom objects? 5 fields are there. ID, name, owner, created by last month. What are the mandatory fields in tab? Name and owner. What is internal? How to identify business launch? It is post fixed with underscore C. If you create what are the external names we can see? If it is policy, policies tab we can see, policy object we can see. What are the internal names? If you create custom object, what are the internal policy underscore C is business logic name, policy underscore C is object name. So in tomorrow session, we'll create custom object. Till this, you practice assignments. I have given 3 assignments and these 14 questions you have to answer. I will keep this in YouTube description link. You can follow and practice. If you have any questions, you can ask me now.